Josh Mancuso. Welcome to Biscuits and Jam.
Thanks for having me, Sid. What's up, man?
Great to see you.
Great to see you. Looking good, sir.
So where am I reaching you right now?
Right now, you're finding me in Los Angeles, California.
Okay. This is where you live these days, right?
It's where I live these days. I'm a Tennessean at heart and for most of my life, but out here, taking some big swings, showing a little bit of Southern love to the folks on the West Coast.
Which they need, yeah.
They need it, and I'm here to do it.
Well, I got to say at the top, can we just get this out of the way? Go Vols.
Go Vols, baby. For those who are watching on video, I've got my UT cup right here.
Nice.
Quenching the thirst.
Just in case you forget where you're from, you got that to remind you. So, yeah, I grew up in Memphis. I did not go to UT, but my dad went there. My grandfather went there. And I was just kind of raised on UT from day one. I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, same. I mean, I didn't go there. My mom did. My uncle did. But I did not. But you live in East Tennessee, man, your blood runs orange. It's just the way it is. And I grew up loving the Vols. I mean, I used to watch my grandfather. He taped all the games, So I remember back in the 80s, late 80s, watching, reruns of, the Sugar Bowl against Miami and all the fun stuff. So, yeah, I've been go Vols since I could walk.
You were born in California, is that right?
I was, yeah. I was born in Long Beach, and my dad, he was from the Huntington Beach area, and so all the Mancuso family is from Southern California. And so I moved out when I was 4 years old, though, to Tennessee. And then after many years, have returned. So, yeah, here I am.
Talk to me about that. What brought your family to Tennessee, and where did y'all land exactly?
Yeah, my mom was from Tennessee. My dad was from California. So we ended up in Tennessee. Kingsport specifically is where she was from. And so her family was from there. So Kingsport for a good while, and then Johnson City, which is just up the interstate, up I-26, Johnson City as well. So the Tri-Cities area of Tennessee, in the corner there, that's where I've made my life most of the years.
So what do you think of as your hometown? I mean, what feels the most like home?
I say Johnson City, Tennessee. Yeah. I spent the first, I guess, through seventh grade in sixth or seventh grade in Kingsport, and then sort of from then on in Johnson City. And so, I did half of middle school and all of high school in Johnson City, and then, went on as an adult and went to college and came back and ended up living there as an adult and having my kids there. And so it definitely feels like home.
Talk to me a little bit about your high school years. You were into sports in high school, played football, is that right?
I did. Yes, I did play football. I know my physique probably gives it away to people. They're like, this guy had to have played football as the punter, right? No, I played wide receiver at Science Hill High School, the same school as Steve Spurrier. He went to school there.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Steve Spurrier Field is the field that we played on. So, yeah, played football and loved Science Hill. Played a little baseball the first 2 years of high school, and then just focused on football. But I loved football. It was like, if I could have been just a little bigger and a little faster and a little better, I could have made it to the big league, to the NFL.
You could have been a Steve Spurrier, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I had a lot of hatred for Steve Spurrier for a really long time, and there's still a little bit of it there. But I don't know. Somehow, with age, he seems to have, I don't know. There's almost a little bit of a nostalgia for that hatred, if it makes any sense,
100%. And I'll tell you what, I had the good fortune of being at the College Football Hall of Fame awards dinner the last couple of years. 2 years ago when I was there, I was in this room with these VIPs, and somehow I had worked my way in there without anybody knowing. And I was in there hanging out, and Spurrier was walking around. I'd never met him before. And so I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, Coach." I said, "My name is Josh Mancuso. I'm a comedian. I do a lot of college football stuff." He goes, "Oh, that's great." I said, "I went to Science Hill High School." He goes, "No way. Did you really?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "That's great. Can you help me find my chair?" I said, "Sure." So I was like, here it is, sir, right here, Mr. Spurrier, right here. So, that was the end of the conversation.
He wasn't interested in bonding. No.
No, he was like, that's great. Very nice fella. But just, the event was about to start and we got to get going here. Where's my seat, son? That's what was, He thought I was an usher, probably.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, that kind of, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Maybe the hatred goes both ways. I don't know if he knew I was from Tennessee, because
he might have smelled a little bit of Tennessee on you.
He was like, I sense a little orange here. This is not good. Yeah.
So Josh, you've kind of taken sports fandom to a new place in a lot of ways, and you've had a lot of fun with it, particularly in the last 4 or 5 years. But tell me a little bit about your emergence as a sports fan, not so much the athlete part of it, but just, but the fan part. Was this something that ran deep in your family, or, does it go back generations, or was it really something that you kind of discovered on your own?
A little bit of both, I guess. Like I said, my grandfather on my mother's side and my uncles on my mother's side, diehard Tennessee fans, loved college football. Pretty athletic family on that side as well. And on my dad's side, my grandfather on my dad's side was a great athlete, played running back for the Navy back in the day, and even had a chance to go pro and play pro, and wasn't able to because of an injury. And he even played in an exhibition game in the Rose Bowl Stadium, I think, at one point. I don't know all the facts on all those things, but I know he was great, and my dad was good too. So from an athlete standpoint, sports was always part of our family. I think the fandom part, though, I kind of developed on my own a little more. Like, my dad is not a huge sports fan. He'll watch sports, but he's like, my brother and I, though, we're texting, and my uncles and I, we're texting all the time, like about Tennessee games or about anything going on in college football, NFL. My brother's a big Major League Baseball fan as well. And since I've moved to the LA area, I have adopted the Angels here, and I kind of grew up liking the Angels because we would visit California when I was a kid, and we'd always go to an Angels game with my aunt and uncle and my cousins. So I kind of enjoyed, cheering for the Angels and Dodgers even from across the country. I think the fandom part is just, it starts when you're a kid. It's like dreaming of being a Major League Baseball player or an NFL star or something, and knowing that that's not probably going to happen. So next best thing is to be a super fan, and if you feel like you're part of the team almost, it's like we have a game today, the players and coaches are probably like, we have a game. You're just, got some popcorn on the couch. But so it's cool it's just something to be part of. Like, it's an exciting thing to be part of. So I've always loved most sports, but football especially. Yeah.
Yeah. Was there a coach or a player or players that you kind of latched onto? Particularly when you think about those kind of like budding years of your, sports fandom. Was there somebody that stood out for you?
There's a few, honestly. I really liked Jerry Rice playing for the 49ers. Yeah, because I was a wide receiver, and I always dreamed of being a wide receiver. So when I actually did play in high school, I played receiver and was all conference honorable mention. I didn't mention that earlier, but that's a small slice of people that get that honor.
Is that still on the resume?
Oh yeah, it's like top of the resume. It's first thing. I forgot the question already. Look, I went into my high school glory days, and what were we talking about?
Well, you're talking about Jerry Rice, and I was just asking about, was there somebody that you latched onto as a fan that became kind of a sports hero for you?
Yeah, Jerry Rice for sure. That's and then being a Tennessee fan, I loved those guys that were, again, the big time wide receivers coming out, Peerless Price, Joey Kent, and I've been fortunate to become friends with Joey Kent, and I don't know if he realizes how big of a fan I was of him. Like, I wanted to be like him when I was playing, right? So he was in college playing while I was playing in high school, and so it just those guys that played at Tennessee, definitely them. There was a coach on a more personal level at my high school, Paul Overbay. I really latched onto him. I really loved him and loved how he did things and how he coached and how he played. In fact, he went to Emory and Henry College in Virginia, small liberal arts school there, and was just smashing records as a receiver and tight end there. I actually went to college there because I wanted to keep playing football in college, and that was the best opportunity I had, was at a very small school, and so I went there. I ended up getting hurt pretty quickly, but I had big hopes of breaking all of his records. But that's a testament to how important high school coaches are to young athletes. Like, I respected him to the point where I was like, I didn't go to that school just for him, but I was inspired by him to even consider that school. So that's somebody that I definitely connected with when I was younger.
That's a big impact, and that's a big life decision for him to affect for you. Talk to me about him as a coach and kind of a mentor. Like, what was it about his style or his charisma that you kind of connected with?
Yeah, he loved football, and he was what I would call a player's coach. Like, obviously he was good with the schematics, good with the the play calling, but he knew how to talk to the players, how to get the best out of the wide receivers, especially. He coached the wide receivers and the offense a lot, and so just really felt like he was genuine. He was authentic. He played the position, so we listened to what he said because we knew that he knew what he was talking about. It just genuinely cared for the guys, and but he also wasn't afraid to get mad. And if he got mad, it was usually because a player on the team thought he was too big for his britches, right?
Yeah.
There, and so he really believed in, there's no I in team, and we're a team, and so I don't know, I just always respected. And he was funny too. He was a funny guy. And so, in my senior year, I think, or junior year, I had an open period, and I basically worked for him. He taught history as well. So we just goofed off and would draw offensive plays on his whiteboard, during this off period, and just hang out. And he was just that kind of coach. He was one you respect and just look up to. Yeah.
Is he still around, Josh?
He's around Johnson City. Yeah, he's still going.
In touch.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him a whole lot recently, but assuming he's a big Biscuits and Jam listener, I'm sure he's watching and listening right now.
I'm sure. Yeah, he will. He will be. I mean, maybe not right now, but when we finally air this, yeah. So, Josh, I want to talk to you about food for a second, which we always do on this podcast, and there's a very strong connection between food and sports. At least there is for me, because most of my sports are watching on TV. So, did you grow up around a lot of tailgating? I mean, is that something that's been a part of your life?
No, really. We didn't do any tailgating. I mean, I think I did some tailgating in college after I got hurt and didn't play any longer. I went over to the tailgating field instead of the football field, and had a little bit there, but didn't really grow up doing much tailgating. As I got older, we would do stuff like wings, pizza, just kind of normal type game day foods, for Saturdays or Sundays. And now it's evolved into more grilling, and we've done some tailgating. Yeah, when we go to a game, we do like to tailgate, because food is kind of a big piece of the day. You got to eat anyways.
Particularly for Southerners. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of grilling going on game day.
So who was the cook in your family?
My mom. Yeah. Great cook too. I mean, she was good. We're Italian. On my dad's side, she's not Italian, but she came in, boy, she took the spaghetti and meatballs and all that, and perfected it. And she's a great cook. Yeah, that's the worst part about not living at home. I thought about moving back in just for that reason, but they won't let me. Great cook. My dad, I wouldn't eat much that he made. If you cook, I don't think I would do it. I would be afraid.
But you moved back to Tennessee, I'm guessing did your mom have family? Were there grandparents?
Yes.
that could cook? And yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes. My mama and papa, right?
Yeah.
And it's the grandfather that I mentioned that was a big Tennessee fan that used to tape the games. Yeah. She was big time cooking. We had Thanksgiving meals over at her house. most years, the whole family coming in, cousins sleeping on top of each other in the floor, like just great Southern cooking, biscuits and gravy, bacon, eggs. And that was all in the morning. And then they cleaned it all up and then cooked again for dinner, with the turkey and the ham and all the sides. I mean, it was magical, honestly. I mean, and she was awesome. And that was before she had to have a dishwasher, no dishwasher. She was a dishwasher. And so all the ladies, all the aunts, they'd come in there, they all like took care of that stuff. The men had it made. I'm not gonna lie. They had it made. Yeah. My wife does that. I have to do the dishes in my house. I know my wife does not. She's not putting up with with any of that.
Now, is she from the South or?
She is. Yeah, she's from Tennessee also. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. I wanted to ask you about your foray into the video thing, and this is something that you started doing. I think it was around the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment. And tell me if I got this wrong, but I think it actually had to do with right around the time that Tennessee fired Jeremy Pruitt and they hired Josh Heupel.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that moment and why you felt compelled to do something then. As
an actor, comedian living in Northeast Tennessee, not a lot of opportunities, right, to go out and get it there. So while I did have an agent and I've been doing some acting into some commercials and some small indie films and whatnot, I really had started making my own videos to try to get myself out there and show people what I could do. So I had done some non-sports related stuff, just throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? And then, the day they fired Jeremy Pruitt, which was a great day in the eyes of many Tennessee fans.
Yeah, me included. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, boy, it'd be funny to put out a fake press conference announcing myself as the new head football coach at Tennessee, but not me, Josh Mancuso. I need like an alias, like some other, thing. And so I literally sat down and just wrote out a script of like this middle school coach, Lance Decker, which I think I probably just put into like a name generator on the internet, and that's what I got, and made up these facts about him being 150-0 and undefeated at Chattahoochee Middle School. Just made all this stuff up and then released the video, and just thought, what I learned was, okay, so it went pretty viral at that time amongst Tennessee fans, and what I learned from that is that timing is everything. Like that was very relevant at that moment. People were watching videos and seeing things come out about the firing and who's going to be the next coach, all this kind of stuff. And so popping up on people's feeds was Tennessee announces new head coach, Lance Decker from middle school. Everybody's like, what? And they're looking and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a parody, So I just felt like I hadn't done much sports related stuff. And that was sort of the kickoff for getting into the sports world.
So what kind of comments did you get? I mean, obviously you're looking at the views and it's great to have a lot of people watching, but I always find that it's really fun and funny to see the comments and the people that are chiming in. I'm just curious, what are some things that people were saying?
Thankfully, most of it was positive. Some people were like, oh man, you almost had me there. Like they almost bought it. I think people just loved that somebody was making light of the situation, making it fun, because while it's not a huge deal that, but for fans, it's a big deal that they fired somebody and they're hiring somebody else. And like, they enjoyed the humor in the midst of that. So that's a lot of the comments were about that. And they're like, yeah, Coach Lance. And, to the point where 4 or 5 years later, people still see me and they're like, Coach Lance, like that's my name. And, he was just a good, lovable Tennessee guy that was going to get his chance, to coach. I think people just, they liked his demeanor. I also think that Ted Lasso was coming out around that same time. If you've ever seen that show.
Yeah.
I've never seen Ted Lasso, but I think there were some parallels that people were saying that made them kind of think of that.
You should probably be on Ted Lasso That is something that needs to happen.
Thank you, Sid. I agree. If you could be my agent and get me on there, that would be great.
Okay. You're probably a little biased about Tennessee, but everybody thinks that as you take a sip from the Tennessee mug, every big sports fan thinks that their team is different. They all think that their fan base is different. Their fight song is better. They're louder. They're louder than everybody else. But, as someone who's covered lots of schools and been in this for a long time, I mean, what are the things that kind of stand out for you about Tennessee and the Tennessee fans, and having heard from them, over the years, particularly as you've been making a lot of these videos?
Tennessee fans in general are like a lot of other SEC school fans. They're salt of the earth people. They love Southern culture. They love their school, but they also respect the other schools. It is cool to have the traditions that Tennessee has, Rocky Top, the Power Tee, all those things I think make Tennessee unique and, a very easy school to feel like you can be part of it. It's like very welcoming. I think Tennessee fans are passionate, though. They are passionate. And if you turn on them in some way, some of them they'll let you know. They'll let you know. And they're vocal. They're vocal. And they just love Tennessee, man. And I recently ruffled some feathers. Did you know about this?
I don't know. No.
Would you like to know?
Yes, please.
Okay. Breaking news here on Biscuits and Jam. Where I've moved to California, where I live in Huntington Beach area, there's Costa Mesa is a town right 10 minutes away. And I have a friend here, and he played football at UCLA years ago. He was
I know where you're going with this.
You know where this is going?
Oh, yes.
And he said, hey, UCLA's been having training camp over in Costa Mesa all last 2 weeks. And today's the last day. You want to go over there and watch? I was like, yeah, I mean, of course. So I threw on a UCLA shirt and hat because I have every team's hat and shirt in my closet because of what I do. And so we went over there. And we're just walking on the field while they're practicing, hanging out. Like, it was very cool to be in the middle of all that. And then, afterwards.
You ran into a certain quarterback.
And may have taken a picture together and may have posted said picture on social media. And I told Nico Iamaleava, I said, if I post this, we're gonna get killed. And he was like, I'm used to it. He's like, I've been getting it already. So we posted it, and that's a great example of what the Tennessee fan base is like. A lot of people, give me a hard time being like, busting my chops, which is great. I love that. So funny. But there's a small percentage of people who are legitimately mad and upset that I was they think I flew all the way across the country because I'm, following Nico and I'm now a UCLA fan, which is not the case. I just simply, in the moment, it worked. And I was like, this will be funny to post this. And some of them are mad. They're like, don't come back,
Well, hopefully most of them will have a sense of humor about it.
They do. Most of them do. And, Tennessee fans are great people. I love Vol Nation, man, and I love being in Knoxville. And I have had the pleasure of working with a lot of other schools, Georgia, Oklahoma, Clemson. What's been cool is seeing all of their traditions also and what they do, and they're all so cool. I think if you're a young person looking to go to a school, you could pick any of them and be happy. There's really cool stuff at every school. But I am biased for Tennessee because I think it's the best. I love the culture there, and I've gotten to know Donde Plowman, the chancellor, and they have great leadership, they have great people, and they're top of my list.
And they've got some great coaches there now, and people who I think are setting a great tone for what matters and the values and all that. I could go on, but I'm biased too, obviously, but I think they do have some good people in place right now.
For sure. Yeah. Heupel, Vitello, Coach Barnes, all of them. I mean, softball, swimming, track and field, everything is popping, and it's really great to see.
Josh, I want to talk about Mascots for a second. And, you've really gotten a lot of mileage out of college mascots. And, the more you think about them, the weirder they get. I mean, there's some very strange ones out there. How are we going to come up with a mascot? And just kind of imagining the people in the room who did that. But, what is it about mascots that's so funny and that's, that you've gotten a kick out of?
Obviously, there's a story behind every choice of mascot. But if you don't know the true story, then you're like, what are they doing? And so I thought that'd be really funny what would it be like to be in the room of the people that decided it, even though I know that it's not really how they decided it, but it's an outsider's perspective of how they decided it, like Alabama, the Crimson Tide, which what even is a Crimson Tide? And then what's our mascot going to be? An elephant. Like what? Like what? Where does that come from? I think it's unique and special to that school because they know about it, but to everybody else, it's weird. And it's like, what are you doing? Like Texas A&M, they've got so many wild traditions. And if you're not in there, you don't really understand it. But it's cool because that's what makes each school unique and what gives them character and personality. And it's awesome. Like what is Stanford, the Cardinal, but they have a tree that looks like, somebody was drunk with some craft supplies and they just threw it together. This mascot. But yet without the tree, they're not Stanford, without the elephant, they're not Alabama. And so it's what they are, and it's how we've come to love them. But I started that because my father-in-law is an Auburn graduate, and they yell that, well, they're the Tigers, but they yell War Eagle, right? And I was like, why don't you just yell Go Tigers? He was like, no, it's War Eagle. I was like, all right, you guys are confused. I'm making a video.
Right. So, why isn't it, Roar Tiger or something? I don't know.
Right. No.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, mascot, it's a great way to talk about college sports for people that aren't just huge sports fanatics. Everybody can enjoy, talking about the mascots and the traditions. Like that's for everybody. So it is a fun time. And do you have a favorite mascot besides obviously Smokey? But like, do you have others that you're like, that's a cool mascot?
One of my favorite, I think this team is one of the coolest things in sports right now, or really anywhere. And that's the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, they have taken the world by storm, and they've done it by having fun and by making sports into entertainment, which is really what it is in a lot of ways. And, but they've just taken that to the nth level. And, they're really, for a team that, from a relatively small town, there was probably a pretty long time where they didn't have huge audiences. Now they're selling out, massive stadiums,
huge stadiums. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I love the Bananas.
I'm with you. What they've done is incredible. It's great for the sport. It's great for sports in general. And that, I think they were pioneering that whole, infusion of entertainment into sports, which you're seeing a lot more of now in other sports and with other teams who are now doing really fun, cool stuff as part of their organization. And so I love it. Savannah Bananas. I mean, I like their message of faith that they kind of have built their team on as well. Like really cool stuff.
Yeah. Now I just got to go to a game.
I know. Me too. I've never been. I want to see the guy on the stilts.
Yeah.
Swings. I mean, imagine pitching to him, like,
So Josh, I saw that you recently wrote a song with Walker Hayes, who's also been on this podcast before. But tell me a little bit about your connection to Walker and how that came to be.
Yeah. Well, first I'm upset that he was on the podcast before me. Because we were very competitive. How it came to be, like we became buddies on social media, really. Like he started following me and liking a lot of my comedy and I followed him and liked his music. And so we just connected one day a couple years ago and said we should do something together. And I've got a show it's a YouTube show that I do with Rated Red and Renaissance Bank. I have different guests. I did Coach Vitello. I've done Kirk Herbstreit, Cooper Manning, And so most recently did an episode with Walker Hayes, and the goal was to write a song. We had some refrigerator magnets with all these different, a big bowl of just words. And we just took a few of them out and said, we got to write a song, the title of a song based on the ones that we pulled out.
Come on, really?
Yeah. And so the title, what we ended up pulling out was Broken Autumn. And so we said, all right, that sounds like that's perfect because that's a fall football. Walker did most of the heavy lifting with the writing. I did contribute some good ideas in there. But yeah, we wrote that little song, a little chorus, and I think we should write the rest of it and put it out for the world to see. You might win a Grammy or something.
Oh, I mean, I think there's a good chance. Yeah. And the timing couldn't be better. I mean, it's about Alabama.
Exactly. It's
so
very relevant right now.
Yeah. And of course, Walker is from, I think, Mobile, or around there. So yeah, he's kind of a lifelong Bama fan in the same way you're a lifelong Tennessee fan, right?
Yeah. It's amazing that we're even friends. But he was willing to write the song at Alabama's expense, and I think it was perfect. Yeah.
It's a great song. I hope y'all do more with it, and maybe there's even an album down the road for you.
Oh, absolutely. I think we could cut a whole album, but this is my public announcement to people to push Walker for us to write this whole song, because I think people would like it.
Josh, aside from all the social media stuff that you've done in the last few years, you're also a filmmaker and an actor, and you've done lots of different things. And I'm just wondering if there's anything on the horizon for you in that world.
Yeah, that was a big part of the reason for our move to Southern California. This is you can make movies from anywhere, but it's LA is where it really happens. That's the hub, and so that's where I wanted to be, because that was really the ultimate goal to begin with. And the social media skits were really just a means to an end, but I've come to love them and people enjoy them, and so I don't know that there's an ending date for those. I think we're going to keep doing that as long as people will have me and as long as it makes sense. But the big dream has always been to channel those things and my efforts and talents into TV series and movies. So currently working with some folks on writing some screenplays, some movies that a couple sports comedies that I think people would love. Working on that, doing some collaborations here in LA. I'm actually going to be doing a sports show, so stand by on more information on that. But a sports podcast, that'll be pretty cool.
That's great.
Yeah, and so just getting after it and throwing all the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
What does your fall look like? I mean, it's got to be, you've got to work and you've got a lot of stuff you've got to produce, but I'm sure you would like to go to as many games as you can. Are you doing a lot of that? Do you travel a good bit in the fall?
I travel some. Yeah, I do. Not too much, because I definitely want to focus on the videos throughout the fall, because that's the bread and butter, and that's what people really want to see. But I will do some appearances sometimes, or do some live events occasionally. So I've got a couple, 2 or 3 probably this fall that I'll be doing. But for the most part, I'm here grinding out videos. And I try to attend a couple games. When I lived in Tennessee, we would usually hit 1 game a year in Knoxville. But I also like to be able to be at home and watch a lot of the games, so I kind of know what's going on, so that when I start making videos for the week, I have a leg up. And it's hard to do that when you're at 1 game for a whole Saturday. So busy. The fall is busy, no doubt about it. It's funny, people are like, "Oh, good, you're back." It's like, I actually have been here the whole time, because I still have to, as it turns out, feed my family during the spring and summer months. But football that's number one. Fall is the best season.
Well, and a lot of people, I think, probably don't realize that there is a lot of writing that goes into these videos. It's not like you just turn on the camera and go. I mean, you have to really kind of, think about it and write out what you want to say. And that's it's a script basically, right? I mean, you have to really put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that. It's true. I do. I spend most of my time writing more than anything. The shoot doesn't take very long typically, and the editing is kind of tedious. It takes a little while, and I do a lot of it, but also have another editor that edits some of it for me. But the writing takes forever. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I can sit down and just like it just works, and it's like 30 minutes to an hour. I've got a boom script, and I'm good. But usually I'm laboring over it for days and days and coming back to it, because somebody once said bad scripts don't make good movies, right? So like a bad script isn't going to make a good video either. So I want it to be good. And some are better than others. There's some that I'm like, well, this is as good as it's going to get this time. So we're just going to shoot it and put it out. But yeah, writing is, I love that part, but it takes a long time. Yeah.
Well, some of them are so good. And I mean, I just, I think of that, one of the first ones that I saw that really stuck with me, and I just was just howling, laughing, because I wasn't that far from it, was the travel baseball one. And just, people don't know what they're getting into. I think there's a lot of parents and, and a lot of dads in particular that go into that, and they've got, a 7 or 8 year old kid, and, and they're so excited. They've been looking forward to this for years, and they've got their kids going to be playing baseball. And then they realize, it's just, it's a whole other thing, and it's going to cost more than college.
Yeah, truly. And you hate to tell people, like, your kid's probably not going to go to the major leagues. And there may not more than likely even get a scholarship to play baseball in college. But here we are spending gobs of money on this. It's so funny. It's much different than my experience playing Little League and, Babe Ruth, where I was like, Dad, I need some batting gloves. And he's like, you're fine. Just go out there and hit the ball, And now the kids have every piece of gear that you can imagine. And it's a whole production, and it's it's funny. That is my most watched video. I think
is it really?
Yeah.
Well, I would encourage people to go see it on your Instagram page. And it's, I think it's up at the top there. And
it's a good one. Yeah.
It's great. Well, Josh, just one more question for you. What does it mean to you to be Southern?
Oh man, I love being from the South. I love, to me, being Southern means, being kind. It means love and family. It means, for me, it means a lot of what I call F words. It's faith, and it's family, and it's football. That is kind of the big three for me. It's freedom as well. A lot of patriotic folks in the South. I think, being Southern is just, it's its own way of life. And a lot of people, if you're not from the South or you haven't spent much time in the South, you may not totally understand it. But I think it's such an awesome place, and it is an amazing life that, for me, I'm recognizing that living outside of the South now, like people that do live outside the South, they think it's very cool. They understand the charm that comes with a Southern life, and it's appealing to them. And so while I might be self-conscious of my accent out here in LA, they think it's cool, So I love it. There's nothing better than being from the South. There's really not.
Well, Josh Mancuso, congrats on everything you're doing. And thanks so much for being on Biscuits and Jam, and go Vols.
I appreciate it, Sid. Thanks for having me. Go Vols, baby.